Just me and Mally again. Lots and lots of driving this summer, old Mally. We got, for you Americans out there, that's 129,363 miles in just over 2 years. Let's see what Canadian looks like. Because it's early and I don't want to do the math. I know if I skip down here, put it over to metric, like normal human beings, it goes to, okay, exit. It goes to 208,192 kilometers on old Mally in the last 2 years. So, a lot of work for her and I. Him and I, don't want to be judgmental. Quite the week we've had. You know, I think this week for us was a typical year, a typical horse racing week, I should say. You had a roller coaster, right? Oh, I see you got my Mark Adams got my Winterwood hat on here. I'll get to that in just a second. So a big week, I guess, for some, and then for others a little bit of a letdown. You can't have too much sweet without a little bit of sour. And you know, Rooney Blue Chip was although it only won a maiden, it wasn't a big race or big stake race or anything like that. It was a big deal for me. You know, we've been waiting a long time for this horse to come forward. It was a big deal in the sense that this particular horse's knees bother him quite a bit, and for him to race as well as he did over Northfield was pretty incredible. So I was happy there. You know, a horse we don't usually talk that much about. Two horses pretty well shone this week and took the spotlight for the most part. Rooney Blue Chip, I just said, and Beach Boutique. 3 wins in a row for Beach Boutique. So, you know, you talk about finding the right place for the horses. Man, oh man. Beach Boutique certainly took off when she got to the Meadows. And this is a filly that we thought was sitting on a win in Ontario. It didn't take her long to find a few of them in Pennsylvania. Thank you very much. You crummy job, eh? Working in a booth. Yeah, so Beach Boutique and Rooney Blue Chip look great this week. Last night, or I guess for you this is Monday, so Friday night we raced the fillies in Scioto. You know, I was kind of mad at myself after. I was mad at myself after I'm a Lovely Lady had anybody, James or anybody else driven I'm a Lovely Lady like that, knowing that we pretty well had to be first or second. I would have been quite upset. Just the way the race shook out, I didn't think the 4-horse was as good as she was. I left to the front. I was looking to let Swizzle Hanover go. I was just going to sit behind Mike Wilder and this kid in the middle. I didn't know the horse. It was pretty clear he was content on moving forward, so I had to let them both go. Now I'm in the 3-hole behind the second favorite, or one of the favorites, a long shot who I don't really know much about this horse, to be honest. It seems to be going well, and I know that Kurt Sugg is back there. I know another horse has already made a break behind the gate, the 8. So now I'm thinking I'm sitting third in a 7-horse field. Worst case scenario, which would be really bad, I'd be 7th at the 3/4 pole. You know, I should be able to sneak out somewhere. I don't want to come first over and expose myself early. That didn't sound right. I didn't want to be exposed first over early. So now, in my mind, I come first over. I don't know that Swizzle Hanover is as vulnerable as she is, right? I got to watch that happen the same as you. So I have to think, this is a filly that qualified with the hobbles on. They think they have her right. You know, I have to beat her. I have to beat the 6. Now, if I come first over, I'm dragging the 6 into the race with me. So I'm using all my energy to get to Swizzle Hanover and get by Swizzle Hanover, hopefully in the last 3/8 of the mile. And in doing so, I'm dragging the horse to beat the favorite along with me. I said, you know what? I'm going to roll the dice here. I'm going to let Dan Noble take a round out of Swizzle Hanover. Dan's horse isn't that good. That horse probably not that good. At this point, I know the 6 is likely a winner. I see where he is. Kurt Sugg's got her in a great spot. There's the place to be. So I roll the dice. I stay in. Dan Noble clears down the backstretch. I'm like, what is going on here? Swizzle Hanover's terrible. 6 horse comes, moves to the outside. It's a lock, he's buggy riding now. Now I'm trying to get out. Brett Miller's done on the outside of me, and the guy in front of me is trying to jam his way out. We both get out, and then Mike Wilder comes over and almost hooks my wheel halfway down the lane. He was trying to get around Dan Noble, who's now stopping. So it was a bit of a dog's breakfast the last 3/8 of a mile. And I was third. I come off the track, no one to blame. The filly raced great, and I was fuming at myself for the way the race shook out. Now, should I have given the 4 more respect? I went back and looked at the program. Yeah, there was a line at 57 there, but a ton of breaks and not really much to write home about. I'm like any handicapper. I can only see what I see, right? I don't know that filly. I don't know who she is or what she ended up racing huge, but I don't know what that one's all about. And I ended up in a poor spot. So, it's just one of those things. If it works out in my mind the way it is, now I'm in the 2-hole behind Swizzle Hanover, and she still walks, and maybe I still finish 3rd or 4th. I don't know. Anyway, maybe chalk it up to it wasn't never meant to be. So I watched Herculesa jog in 55. She didn't jog. McIntosh's filly was 2nd, but 55 and 1, big mile, considering we just trotted in 57 2 weeks in a row. And then Burke's filly looked very, very good again, 58, but it had got quite colder. It reminds me a lot of maybe Georgian Downs or somewhere like that. When the sun goes down, it gets quite a bit colder, and you could see it. That filly of Burke's is a 55, 56 trotter for sure, and trotted in 58. Now wrapped up an easy winner in 58. I should have been a close 2nd in 58. Instead, I think Little Jazz was spinning her wheels a little bit in Scioto. If you remember, the first night she raced, I was doubled up in the 2-hole the whole way. Never really got a chance to race till the last quarter. In the second race, it poured rain, which tightened the track up. Last night, I found the track a little bit loose, and you could see it a couple of times in the mile. She put a step in. Now, we let her hobbles out because she goes with a long hobble, but put a step in here and there. Not a big deal. She was fine after, but it definitely cost her 2nd. So what we know we're going back to now, we're going to Delaware, which is deep, and we're going to Delaware, which is deep, and we're going to Scioto, which we know is deep. So we'll put a little grab on her shoes. She just wears a trot shoe up front with a couple little corks. For those of you that are horsemen out there, the cork. Well, you don't need to know what corks are, but 2 little corks on her front shoes. We might drag a bead of borium in between those 2 corks, just to give her a little more grab for Scioto and Delaware. We might even put aluminums on her for the last 2 starts of the year. Don't really want to put aluminums on her. She runs down a little bit. Is that because she's sliding or her long pasture's behind? Could be a bit of both. Nevertheless, little tinkering here and there. She's going to have to find some speed. 57 and 1 in Northfield, pretty easy mile. Looked good doing it, but coming into a field that has multiple 55, 56 trotters. It's a deep division and a lot of work for Little Jazz to do. As I'm talking, I'm thinking in my head, and one of our clients had sent me a message last night saying, why don't we forego the Ohio breeders and just aim for the 5th leg of the Buckeye? It's 18.75. Might be a good $9,000 paycheck, or 18.5, whatever the hell it is. Now that I'm talking out loud, it might be a good tightener for my Jazz also. We're not the only ones that are thinking this, though. I think the Buckeyes at Jug Week in Delaware are going to be very difficult, because there's a lot of people that don't want to race against everybody in that top 10 that knows they already have a berth in the final. They don't want to race against Herculesa, right? Burke's filly, and a number of other ones. When the divisions are going to go for, what, 50 grand? Their thinking might be the same as mine. Yours, Johnny's. Why not just scoop up that 9? Wouldn't that be nice? So I don't know what we're going to do yet. It's worth talking about, though, that's for sure. And then, as I said, I'm a Lovely Lady. She's got the Consolation, same type of deal, Buckeye or Ohio Breeders, Jug Week. Either one's fine. And that's about it. And that's it for this year for both of those fillies. 2 races left. whether it be Buckeye or Ohio Sires, and then final for one, consolation for the other. Mama Knows Best is going to make the consolation, but she's going to race in the last two Buckeyes. She has to. If we're to try and secure a spot in those Buckeyes, she's got to race in both of them. And I would suspect winning them would be very, very helpful. Now, a filly we haven't talked much about because we haven't had her around. She's back. Rose Run, Why Not? I trained her 2.6 last quarter in 28 seconds at Northfield the other day. She's going to qualify on Thursday. And I'm probably going to qualify her at 2.2, 2.3, and then we'll school her up after that. But she needs a good performance in the last two Buckeyes if we're to make the final with her. Wouldn't that be great? Make the final with her. And then also qualifying on Thursday is our girl who missed virtually all the year. But she got a couple of Buckeyes, a couple of races left, and that's Gray is the new red. Trained her 2.4, trained her a mile and a half the other day. She was very, very good. So she'll be qualifying at Northfield Park on Thursday also. So two big qualifiers coming up this week. We'll get to more of the racing in just a second. We're going to switch to what I've been doing this week, and this is a good segue into this hat. Winterwood Farms. So I went to Winterwood. I've known Mark and Albert for, I've watched them and talked to them for the last 3-4 years at the sales. And now Mark and I own Italian Grit together with a couple other people. He bred them. And I went to his farm yesterday, and my God, they got I didn't make a video of the horse just because I can guarantee you it's well outside our price range. Down by the Seaside Colt, I think. He was an absolute knockout. Number of horses there for Joel out there watching. I did see Biscuit. Nice filly. Uncle Peter filly. I forget her name. I don't forget her name. Kathy with an I. I didn't even have to look. That's her name. She's an Uncle Peter filly. She's in the Buckeye sale. And one of our clients is the breeder. Well, I guess Mark's the breeder. Is the owner of Kathy with an I. So, very happy with what I saw from her. She's a pretty girl. Mark had a number of horses there, but he's a consigner also. So although he had 6 horses there, he has vastly more horses in the sales. So what happens is a lot of these smaller breeders will drop them off last minute to, they've been prepped and walking around. They drop them off last minute to take them to the sale. That's what we do too when we sold our aged horses. Now I didn't use Mark. I also know a number of other breeders. And Sanina with Springhaven I just happened to know her and had her number, and she was the one that had consigned her horses in the past. We haven't done that this year, and we won't for the rest of the year. But Sanina, I'll be coming out to see her also at Springhaven. LMN, Mitchell Nault, I'll be going out to see him also. And Midland Acres. I want to get out to see the guys at Midland Acres. But yesterday, I was at Winterwood. Now, I pull up to Winterwood. My GPS takes me to Winterwood. I pull up this grass driveway, the gate. Who doesn't have a driveway? I pull in, and I call Mark. I'm like, hey, I'm at your gate here. He goes, you're at the back gate. I said, oh. He goes, well, if you drive all the way around. I'm like, why don't you just open the gate? Can I just drive up? He goes, well, it's locked. I'll come down. So I didn't realize the torture I was about to put him through, because it's about half a tank of gas from where he was to the back gate. Place is huge. Any of you guys that watch Yellowstone, I felt like I was in the set of Yellowstone. I was driving. Nobody was killed. I was driving. Everything's paved. It's massive property. I had no idea how big it was. If you guys have anybody out there that wants to see a beautiful, beautiful farm, and there's lots of really nice farms, lots and lots and lots. Take the time to go to Winterwood, Belleville, Ohio. Oh my good God, it is massive. And I don't know who cut your grass. Every time I called Mark, he's like, I'm mowing grass. I'm like, Jesus, this guy spends a lot of time in the lawnmower. Yeah? I can tell you one thing. You want to have a couple people and a couple lawnmowers for the size of the place they got. It was huge. So this is important because this is where we turn our horses out in the fall. And it is some kind of beautiful place. Anyway, for Mark, I talked to him when we were there. We saw the Uncle Peter filly we really liked. There was a nice triumphant caviar there. But for the most part, the best one of the lot was that I could see so far was the down by the Seaside. I believe it might have been a Fear of the Dragon. It might have been a Fear of the Dragon. It's not in here. Either way, Fear of the Dragon down by the Seaside or whatever it was by, it was going to be way, way, way outside our price range. And then also Woodyville's sister was there by father. I think it was sister by Father Patrick. Man, oh man, that was a beautiful horse too. So we looked at Mark's horses. I'm going to go with the sale and do some videos of his consignment. I know what he has now for the sale, and mostly can't afford it. So it was great to go there, though. I had never ever been there before, and I was so impressed with the operation. Just the sheer scope of it. Wow, it was really incredible. So glad I went there. Got my hat on. Told Mark I'd wear my hat, my Winterwood hat, when I was doing the videos, and happy too. So that leads into what I've been doing all week. Going to I went to Hickory Lane, saw a number of really nice horses that I like at Hickory Lane. I did videos of some of them. Steiner Stock Farm, Al was there, showed me around the property, showed me his babies. They look really nice too. Scooted down to Cool Winds, but like Mark, a lot of them are mostly consignments. So he had some babies there that look fine, but most of his horses were in consignment, so we won't see those till the sale. So what will happen is, I'm in Ohio, obviously. I'm going to take a couple of days, go down to the sale. I don't even know if I know where it is yet. Whenever the sale, I'll scoot down there the day before and have a real good look at everything we want to look at. I'd like to coordinate with Curtis. Obviously, Curtis and Kelly can't come here for obvious reasons. But maybe if I go home, Curtis can hook me up with a microphone that I can bring down here with me, and Kirby can help me do the videos. Kirby's got a real good eye, too, for that stuff. So there shouldn't be any interruption in that regard. Obviously, the only concern I have this year is the one that I continue to talk about and harp about is, what do our clients want to do? I was so impressed. We have a little over 800 clients. Almost 250 of them took the time to fill out the survey. Now, if you're out there and you didn't fill out the survey, maybe you forgot to, maybe you don't want to, maybe you didn't have anything nice to say, I don't know. But take the time to fill it out. It just gives me something to work with. Now, Kelly is very meticulous and does a great job, and she put everything into charts. So I know what you're looking for. I know how much you want to spend. I know exactly what sex, gait, jurisdiction you are interested in, and it really helps me get an idea of where people want to go. I was not surprised to know that people want to buy Ohio trotters and Ontario trotters also. That's not shocking. We do have some people that still, and it's nice to know who they are and what they're looking for. People are looking for New York breds. I know we don't usually buy a lot of New York breds, and we won't, but I had a gentleman call me, Brian called me yesterday. It's specifically because he's a New York State resident, and he wanted to put a little group together to buy a couple of New York horses. Absolutely, 100%. My biggest problem in the past, and you guys know this, is that New York has been a problem state in the sense that we'd buy a horse, and then somebody like Brian or Mark Treffy or a group they put together would buy some of the horse, but I would be left with all of it. It worked out well this year because out of luck, Lincoln Hanover was sold for a lot of money, and So Admirable's turned out really well. So that was out of luck, though, right? If those horses aren't good, I'm left holding a pretty big bag. So I want to be very careful in that state. New Jersey, same thing. You're racing against a ton of expensive Muscle Hills. Let's be careful. Maybe we'll buy one or two, something like that, just because we do have clients in New Jersey that want to own horses with us. Pennsylvania, every year we buy 4, 5, 6 Pennsylvania breds. This year it didn't work out that well. We only had the one colt we brought over, Argento. We sold him right away. Did pretty good with him. Our fillies just never got going. Never got them to go. Two of our best horses all year never got a chance to race in One My Heart Hanover and Frilly Fringes. And you guys see now the issue with allergies when we're dealing with a horse like War We Welcome, right? 2-1, 2 minutes, last quarter in 28 seconds in June at the baby qualifiers, and then you get to the heat of the summer and she gets sick, and then we're dealing with it's a frustrating thing. Now, she isn't quite to the level where we have to stop with her, but you can see she's not in fifth gear. She's trying to get there, and as I said to Mario, just go easy with her, race her in the grassroots, and when the cool weather comes, and it will, we'll see the best form of her if we take care of her. She still has a ton of races in the fall. This is a filly we paid into a lot of stakes, so just take your time. Walk on the Moon the other night. Came in great. Final of the Millard. Mario run him up the wood, and he came charging late. Some people were upset. I was happy with it. And, the same people might have been upset that he left so hard with him the other night. Well, I can't be mad at Mario Bergeron for leaving hard the other night, because I would have done the exact same thing, and it would have ended the exact same way. Jody pushed through the inside, pushed us over to the quarter in 27 seconds. That's it right there. That's the race. It's over. You throw in a tiny bit of allergies or a little redness in his throat, some mucus, you do the math. 31-2 on the end of it's not that shocking. So, Mario talked to the vet, and they're going to treat the horse up a little more aggressively, and we have to change the way he drives him. He knows that. It's the first thing he said to me today. He goes, my fault. It's not your fault. Yes, technically it's your fault he raced that way, but it's not your fault in the sense that I or anybody else, given the same circumstances, would have done the same thing. So no, I don't blame him. Was I happy? No. Did I throw up a little bit? Yeah. But we'll get over it. It's a horse race. We'll move forward. So that's the roller coaster of horse racing. You're riding this high because the fillies, they might have been third. One made the final, one didn't. But they made money. My Jazz got $55,000 made this year. And this isn't about money, but it always is about money in the back of my mind. I've been in this game forever. Anytime I walk up, how good's that horse? First thing you're going to do is walk up and see what kind of lifetime mark did it take and how much money did it make. That's the way horse people are. Both those fillies. The other little filly's got 20 grand made now. I think we give 14 for her, and she's going to do well in the consolation. Yeah, I'll get another crack at Trevor Smith or whatever his name is that drove that. I don't even know the name of the filly that ended up getting away in the 2-hole in front of I'm a Lovely Lady and finishing second. Yeah, I'm going to take another round at him. We're going to go again in the consolation. Mama Knows Best is going to be in the consolation also. These fillies are going to have a great year. Globetrotting had a fantastic year, and I think everybody just thought we were going to have a Globetrotting every year. But Virgil had a Globetrotting this year. Ron Burke had a Globetrotting this year. We just had some good horses. They're going to race good right through the end of the year and have a great sophomore season because we were lucky enough to do the right thing in the middle of the summer. And this is a very good segue to another conversation of how we're going to change our policies when it comes to racing horses in the heat of the summer. We're going to clamp down even more, I think, next year. And if there's any signs of the War We Welcomes or Walk on the Moons, just going to let them put some weight on in July. In even a horse that shows mild signs of allergies like War We Welcome did, yet those mild symptoms and signs make major impacts on the track. Here's a filly that we really thought was something special, a special horse in June, and looked like an ordinary animal in August. So that's what that little bit of airway inflammation or mucus or pimples, as we call it, that's what that can do to a horse. That's how it can transform that animal. So I need everybody to understand that next year when we decide who's going to take time off and who's not, this is exactly why. So, for the most part, as I said, we had a great week. Beach Boutique was fantastic. 3 wins in a row for her. Rooney Blue Chip broke his maiden. Took a long time, but Rooney Blue Chip looked pretty impressive in doing so. I saw him jog yesterday on the track. He looked fantastic. I know we're going to try and get him to the pool. I told our clients he didn't take to the pool real good. They said that his head was under the water a couple of times, and Jason said I was sick watching him swim because I thought he was going to drown. And I guess the guy who runs the pool said, yeah, sometimes we'll have horses come in and it takes them 2, 3, 4, 5 times before they learn how to swim, and then they usually like it. So I don't think Jason will be taking to the pool, but the gentleman that runs the pool will get Rooney over and get him swim again over the next week. It's important. I don't think he'll be able to take the pounding of the track all year and race the way we want him to, and certainly race like he did the other night. But we can manage that. Compass Rose DC got photoed out for second the other night. I got locked in with her, but she was absolutely flying on the end of the mile 55 for her. Spend That Money was good again. James called me after and said, is Spend That Money lame? I said, no. What are you talking about? She looked pretty rickety in the turns. I said, yeah. We took all the weight off her. She's trotting faster. We put lighter shoes on her, and she will get a little scrambly in the turns. She'll learn to get better and better and better, but we took a ton of weight off this filly. This is a filly that needed weight, a tight hobble last year. We let her hobbles out, took all the weight off her. This is her transformation. I'm going to tell you something. You get that filly over to the Meadows, and we are going to take her to the Meadows in the next few weeks. I know Jason has her in the non-winners of 2 on Wednesday, but we will get her to the Meadows. And when we get her to the Meadows, watch out. She's sitting on a big mile. So is Compass Rose DC. We're going to have some very, very, very fresh, sharp trotters for the fall. And this, I guess, will be the other side of that July coin where we were down in the dumps, the horses sucked, they couldn't do anything right, then they were sick, then they needed time off. You know, the guys in Ontario are starting back today, is their first stake race back for a lot of these colts, and it was a long time, but I think it'll pay dividends in the fall, hopefully. We'll see. But for now, I firmly believe we did the right thing and it'll pay off on the track. Also, Sebastian Yu is making his first stake start of 2020, his first sophomore stake start. Now, we did school him the other day, and he did show a little bit of mucus after. They've been monitoring him. His blood work come back very good, so they think that it was just a little bit of mucus, a little bit of stuff in his throat. We'll scope him again, I guess Monday morning, probably before the race. Don't want to race this horse sick, and he seems fine now. Tim said he didn't school poorly. He just, you could tell there was some stuff in his nose after we scoped him, and there was some mucus there. So Tim's working hard with the vet to get him cleaned up. He's coming in riding a 2-race win streak now. It was in the condition claimers, and he's now in the Stallion Series, but I see he's picked for 3rd or 4th morning line. If he's as good as he was over the last few weeks, I think we'll be just fine with Sebastian Yu and Bottle of Red. And Bottle of Red, well, she raced the same day Beach Boutique did. Bottle of Red made her first start, raced great. A little short coming in off a month, and Tony Hall was driving, great driver. He ended up first over with her. She was a little weak on the end of it, not shockingly. She was off for a month, but look for a good bounce back from her. She drew the rail on Wednesday this week, and a different Tony's driving her this week. This one, I am. So we'll look for a bounce back from her. A couple of new horses heading to the Meadows this week. Spirit of Deo, I told everybody, I can't come to her, she can come to me. She's here. And I'm going to race her Tuesday. We're going to ship her up to Tim today or tomorrow, I think. Race her on Tuesday at the Meadows. And another horse making her first start in Pennsylvania on Tuesday. Globe Trotting is racing on Tuesday afternoon. Now, you might say, why are we taking her to Pennsylvania? There seems to be a lot of really good classes for our horses. Tim Twaddle's done a great job all summer and had a lot of luck with stable horses. They just seem to fit like a glove there. Look, Beach Boutique, 3 wins in a row. This is a filly that struggled in the maiden at Mohawk. She crushed them the other day, 54-2. Bottle of Red looked good the other day also. That's on the pacing side. We could go on. Stonebridge Simba has looked good since he went there. What else? You know, Spirit of Dio picked a win on Tuesday. Globetrotting picked a win on Tuesday. You know, Sebastian Yu has been good there. It just, every horse we seem to send there just fits right. It just seems to be a good track and a good jurisdiction for our horses right now. And really excited about Globetrotting. The Meadows is a fast 5/8 mile track, and she's coming in good. I trained her yesterday. I said to Jason, so you guys have watched Globetrotting. You can tell there's a few little holes in her. We're constantly just polishing a little bit. Finally got her right. Trained her the other day, and she'd always pick at her knee, her inside knee. Not pound it, just pick. You'd always see her, you'd always hear her. I said to Jason, I come off the track Friday morning. I'm off the track Friday morning, and I said to Jason, I think this is the first time I ever trained this filly she never hit her knee. He said she never hit her knee. I said, not that I saw, not one time. So Globetrotting is getting really, really sharp, which is good because the timing couldn't be better. She's coming into a big race September 5th, which is going to be about 9 or 10 days out from the Tuesday trip. So maybe 11 days, I'm not sure. But the timing is perfect for Globetrotting. So she's picked to win in the Meadows Tuesday. So is Spirit of Dio. The finals night coming up will be Globetrotting and My Jazz. Both of them have secured spots in the final, going for $300,000. Now, Kelly had sent everybody a note out. I know, I apologize for our Canadian clients. You can't come to the Ohio Cyrus finals. You can't get across the border. Well, you could, I suppose, if you want to fly to Columbus, go to the races, and then quarantine when you go home. Then yeah, by all means, you can probably go to Columbus, I suppose. So, all of you who are able, let's just leave it at that. All of you that are able to go to the final, the finals night in Scioto Downs, the racetrack has reached out to me and said, listen, we got an entire big patio area. People can social distance out there. They can have a drink out there. It'll be beautiful. It's out in the open air, so you don't have to worry about COVID-19 as much, I guess. If you want, you can rent the whole patio, and I think we will. They've been very generous with us, so I think we'll take that whole patio for anybody. I know David Bolus and Debbie have contacted me, and a number of other people. Anybody that wants to come, let me know, but we do have to have your name on a list. So send Kelly or I an email back. If you send it to me, I'll forward it to Kelly. You should put your name on the list, and we'll get that list out to Scioto Downs this weekend, I guess this week. So as soon as you can, ASAP, get your name on that list so we can get you out to the patio at Scioto Downs for Super Finals night. We'll have 2 horses for sure in there. My Jazz and Globetrotting will race that night. The horses for the $75,000 consolation, which will be held a little bit later at Northfield Park, would be Mama Knows Best and I'm a Lovely Lady. They'll both be able to race in there. And then the Buckeye, I think the Buckeye final might be at Dayton, if I'm not mistaken. I think it is. So we'll have the Buckeye final. We'll hopefully have, it wouldn't it be cool if we got Miss Meringue, Mama Knows Best, and Rose Run Wine On in? That would be really awesome. Let's just focus on getting them to the winner's circle and getting some points and money on their card for the Buckeye final. And then also, if we have a big fall from what's the little filly? Gray is the New Red. Who knows? Maybe she'll make the final also. So lots going on. I know today I will be focused on going to see some babies, and I will also be focused on watching the races in Sarnia. I know it's like Kawartha Downs. You can only watch them live, so I want to tune in on my phone when the races are going, so I can watch. I put myself in the spot. Beef and Cheddar is going to race. No Free Lunch is going to race. Dropped him down. Glad he did. The Golds looked deep last night. No Free Lunch is going into the grassroots today. Adrenaline Rush is also going. I'm going to miss one. Adrenaline Rush is going into the grassroots today. Okay, so Kevin and Adrenaline Rush. Harry hit Beef and Cheddar. No Free Lunch. I can't remember the other one. Anyway, we have 4, I think, racing in Sarnia today. There's no need to email me and tell me who the 4th horse is. Obviously, I'm going to look as soon as this video is over. So we have four horses going today in the grassroots.